call signs through the enemy position. I have engaged and destroyed 1 time BRDM and 1 time T-72. Over.
Yeah, there's a lady free. Down to the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tankefest 2019.
Part of the paint scheme is red oxide. It's almost the undercoat, so it meant they didn't end up using quite as much paint. Now the Jagdpanzer is part of that German tradition that they were keen to put a larger gun on most of their production tanks, but by doing it, by making a Panzer or a Panzer. So what they've done here is it's a Panzer hull with the side raised, slightly thinner armour than the standard Panzer, and what you've got is then made that with the 232 engine in the back, 10 engine that is powering the side of 1 and then the side of 2, and the combination
got a cast hub. It's put in sideways. Because loading it is rather difficult, because the length of the rounds of ammunition, the gun's been put in laying on its side. So the loader has to swing around rather than loading the gun in the normal way. That's how it works. That's what it's actually 1,484. It's not how manufacturing the radiator. But it's very cramped inside. The driver is the only one with a decent seat. Everybody else is huddled round the gun, or in the case of the tank commander, huddled round the engine. The other drawback to that is the temperature to leak. It was put together by the Czechoslovakian factory, built into it by then Czechoslovakia, have been taken over by the Nazis under their
and this system was pretty much the result of a lot of British experimentation in the late 50s and early 60s. The whole idea of the Bovington really is really to do the British Army's main battle to do all the roles that previously would have been done infantry tanks, cruiser tanks. This one now with a 120mm gun, and under that rubber cap is a mirror, and a light can be shone from inside the tank to the mirror, bounces back, and inside it can be registered whether the barrel has got any groove in it or any bend in it. And again, the idea there is you've got that long a barrel, cold wind blowing across it. If it spins the barrel at all, and it can get hot in the fire, instantly fire the target, say 3 kilometres away, you can have the problem of missing the target. So the muzzle reference system, or MRS as it's called, helps make that tank very, very accurate. And those of you, whole war, different types of countries coming together, looking at their need for tanks. And this one here coming around, this is the German bought by the Canadian military. It's a Leopard C, Leopard 104 production. They are sold to quite a number of other European countries, and again, a lot of countries that use the British Centurion when it was come to the with the letters, the Scorpion there, cropped up, followed on by Tankefest, which was the British Army manufactured. program, they slightly alter the tank, and the sheer 2 tank basically becomes the Challenger 1. And so what you've got there is really the same gun and the gunnery systems are tweaked in half, but the big difference is you've now got Condor's 12 cylinder, 12 V-cylinder, 1,200 horsepower diesel engine, and Chobham armour, and the big thing, really tremendous levels of protection. Now the vehicle coming on behind, we've got there now, that's a Warrior. We've seen that Warrior, which originally the Warrior came into service, originally called NCVA Park Area. So these are vehicles that, like so many modern army vehicles, they go through upgrade programs, mid-life programs they sometimes call them, and it's how to keep them effective in service rather than scrapping them all and buying a whole new bit of kit. Now the weird one,
the logo on it, so you can't miss it.
Lucy, fantastic. And Lucy and her team are there to answer any questions that you've got as well about the Tank Museum, but certainly if you've not thought about becoming a friend of the Tank Museum, join the 1,000 or more people who realise that it's just a reminder, it is hot today, probably going to be the hottest day in the UK. Even you're going to feel them. They're the big machines. And if you want to get up close and personal with all of the machines between 12:30 and 1:30, that's the next time the tank park will be open.
winch on the front, you can see there, just going over the dozer blade, which is also placed in front. And that was another one of the additions to armoured vehicle to the Tank Museum. This is a Leopard armoured recovery place. Was if you didn't hold the ground and you had a knocked out armoured vehicle, it was very difficult for them until the bird had to take off to recover. And most armies learned this lesson, and the Germans certainly did, because what they were doing again with this Leopard 1 variant, they were developing this almost with the Leopard 1 tank, and you can see when repairing of the vehicle goes on elsewhere. Now with so many modern armoured vehicles, if Challenger armoured recovery vehicle goes into action,
Try to keep the shoot going at lunchtime. The British Army is happy to do their display. It's not particularly weight at the moment, only maybe for the photograph, but with the heavy recovery vehicles we have, it's more likely.
That's a good job to answer the question to me. So, the launch, it's probably one of the fastest vehicles that's been going around the arena so far today. It is the Boxer. I'm joined by Stefan, who is a serving member of the Royal Netherlands Army. Stefan, what do you do within the Army?
I'm a combat engineer in the Royal Netherlands Army from the 111th Combat Engineer Company, and I'm a crew member on the rear side of the Boxer on the dismounted group.
And this is your first Tankefest, I understand. You've always wanted to come, but this is the first time you've been able to come, and you're doing it through work as well, which is great news for you.
Yes, it is. It's a great opportunity for me to represent my army here at Tankefest in Bovington, and a great experience for myself as well.
So I mentioned earlier on that we saw the
giving it about 743 horsepower, which makes it able to move with 110 kilometers an hour. However, it's limited to 80 for technical reasons. It's outfitted with a remote control weapon station on top with a 50 caliber machine gun with an effective range of about 2 kilometers. And as you can see here, this is the combat engineer version, which provides space for all of our equipment and gear. The Boxer is driven by a 3-man crew.
Now we've got Scimitar there going around as well. Easy to forget, Scimitar's still a service vehicle, the British Army. We've got something called Scimitar 2, which was a vehicle that was again an improvised vehicle, mainly for Afghanistan, and used there by giving it better mine blast protection. What you're looking at with Scimitar, it's basically the old Scorpion hull with a Fox turret, Titan bridge layer, but again it's based on the Challenger 2 tank chassis underneath all that. It's basically the same engine, some of the same hull components, and Titan is used there to cross gaps. The military tend to use this phrase, we call it bridge laying or something like that. They call it gap crossing. Different size bricks can carry for different roles, different size gaps they're trying to get across. It's a classic tube. We always think World War II, what tends to happen in the Second World War, they were wooden bundles of sticks that were dropped into a gap. Here we can see the Trojan using that mechanical arm to, it's an excavator arm that's on there, hydraulic powered. It can drop its chassis into a hole in the ground, which means other vehicles can travel across it. One of the other advantages, by the way, if you're actually on a live water course, it's actually like a flowing river or stream, actually having hollow plastic drain pipes there means the water doesn't bank up and wash your passage downstream. You can see there as well, it's deployed its mine plough in the front of the vehicle, and the idea there is a simple way of pushing mines out the way as you're going along. You can also, from Trojan, carry a trailer behind it which deploys the Titan, which is a rocket-propelled hose that they can blast forward. It carries this, it's a rocket that basically carries a hose behind it, lands out to about 230 metres forward of the vehicle. They can detonate it from inside the vehicle inside that Trojan, and it will clear an area about 7 metres wide, and that is another way you can clear mines up ahead of you. Very impressive thing to look at. So the Titan there just replacing its bridge down. We've got a crew there inside that Titan, 3-man crew. Normally it just carries something well. And both these variants of vehicle, they've also got what you call NBC, or nuclear, biological, chemical warfare protection. So again, they can close down over-pressurised system, filtering out the air and making sure the guys inside are safe if they go through a chemically or biologically contaminated battlefield. Titan and Trojan, there's 33 of each in service with the British Army, put together what was originally was Vickers, and BAE bought them out, and they were built especially obviously for the Army. We're the only Army that's actually used them. They arrived here on site early this morning in a session down from the camp, driving down together. Someone just quietly whispered in my ear, you wouldn't want to take these on, would you? Part of the issue about armour that sometimes we can easily overlook, but you can see it today in the arena, there is a psychological impact of big, heavy, armoured vehicles that is very hard to explain to people unless you see it in the flesh. Now you're down in the arena, you can hear the ground shake, you can hear these things rumble whilst the infantry in the back beat fast and actually finish the attack on foot. So they don't use the that's what we meant, that we could up armour warriors who go on the warrior hull, go and talk to them, and they can tell you a little bit more about first hand what it's like driving these vehicles, looking after them, keeping them running, and many of the guys down there have seen active service on these vehicles.
Hunter 31 Alpha, sighting at 1530 hours, grid, Sierra uniform 370575, index enemy position, I am observing, over.
suppose he's cleared the minefield, he's now moving out of the area. The Warrior is equipped to protect the infantry dismounts from enemy fire as they rapidly advance the enemy objectives, and then to provide fire support with its own 30mm Raven cannon and coaxial 7.16mm L94 train gun, as the dismounted troops fight through to the position. So, ladies and gentlemen, whilst the infantry will be doing, as you can see, the infantry have taken the bund and the bunker and are just clearing it now.
And that's Yankee 10 call signs through the enemy position. I have engaged and destroyed 1 time BRDM and 1 time T-72. Over.
Here, Challenger 2. A battle damage assessment, a BDA, about what has just taken place and what armour they've knocked out. And that would be fed back to headquarters so they can actually assess the damage that's been done on the battlefield and then plan the next move.
To be able to stand here today and take this salute. It's a huge privilege to be commander of the Armour Centre, and I can't thank the Tank Museum staff enough for putting on today and tomorrow, particularly as today is of course Armed Forces Day, where we celebrate ourselves but amongst our communities in which we live. So Richard's team, thanks very much, but also clearly thank you to everybody else who is making this work.
So the vehicles will now be coming round to do their salute to the most senior member of the forces on site today. Please also give them a massive round of applause as they come round. I know you think they can't, but they can hear you.
Army that was really one of the first that was fully mechanised, especially when it goes off to France in 1940. And what we've got is one of those first tanks the Royal Armoured Corps was serving in 1940. That's Armoured Corps II going around. Now the idea of the Armoured Corps, why they did it, they thought it was good to have an overall body that looked after things such as training, equipment, the standards that are going to have to be reached by the soldiers done in case it bumps into other tanks coming the other way. But sometimes they gave them just machine guns or close support weapons, in other words a small howitzer or mortar. But that war, the soldiers, the different regiments in the Armoured Corps were now at last starting to get our armour together in a manner that perhaps we were behind the curve for a couple of years in World War II. And this is the tank that was being issued to the Armoured Corps troops in December of '44. It's a Comet tank. And really the Comet in a way is a bit of a development of the Cromwell family, what the Army would have called a cruiser tank, so it's a faster tank. And they gave this tank a 77mm high velocity gun. That gun is about a third as powerful as the 45.
Hitler is dead and the German army is disintegrating under constant Allied attacks from both east and west. Confusion abounds and meeting engagements are occurring as units stumble into each other. Look to the western side of the arena, you'll see a solitary panther in the training battalion, trying to gain contact with remaining German forces. This special commander is not interested in surrendering,
and which is the Classic 1940 vehicle coming on now, two-man. There's our Matilda 1. Matilda 1, designed by Vickers Armstrongs to government specification, or War Office at the time specification, designed by Sir John Carden. It was called the A11. They always give these A numbers to British armoured vehicles. So A11 is the Matilda, and it was to a budget, and everyone makes that point because obviously it doesn't look like anyone's lavished too much expense on it. Most of the suspension exposed, the engine in the back. Driver almost sits on the floor of the vehicle with the tank, and it's a beautifully crafted vehicle, but again, as we very quickly realised in the Second World War, way too complex, too expensive, and again, it was a superb tank in its day in 1940, but very quickly most of the Western Allies realised the idea of the Americans and the Russians of just making simple models in larger numbers is probably more effective. Now our Matilda 2, it's got very thick frontal armour. Again, famously at the Arras attack, the German anti-tank gun in 1940, that would go through any known German tank. So the tendency of just disparaging it as a not particularly effective gun. It gets outclassed, but of course in 1940, that was a perfectly acceptable gun. And with the Matilda 2, not only in moments in France in 1940, but in Operation Crusader out in North Africa, where you've got O'Connor's forces, 30,000 men take on about 250,000 Italians and the Italian army that's gone from Libya into Egypt. They rush it into production. They were given a target of getting the tank into service in a year. And if you think most heavy armour projects, if you're lucky these days, we get it sorted in 11 years if you're lucky. Building this tank and getting it to the troops in a year was just absolutely staggering in World War II. The first ones were actually issued in June of 1941. They have a huge number of teething problems because of that rush. And the very first model has, it's really the armament you can tell the different models from. The first model has a 2-pounder gun in the turret and a 3-inch howitzer in the hull. They then changed them, swapped them around, think that might be a better combination, and then they decide to go with this particular model, which we're actually looking at. Now there's our wonderful Valentine coming around now, often overlooked, like John Pearson's Valentine be coming on. Over 8,000 Valentines were made in the UK, and that's the most tanks of one type we made the most of in World War II. 8,000 Valentines. This one is a late one with the 6-pounder gun on. Again, as mentioned earlier, it starts life. It was going to be the infantry tank that could have replaced the Matilda II. But when they went into service, they ended up being used as cruiser tanks instead of our really thick armour. The later model Churchills had thicker armour with the Tiger 1 tank on the front, and it was an ideal tank for the British to adapt as well to specialised roles. So, of course, you see the Churchill Avery, we have one. Here at the company group is a Pepper Hawthorne. It becomes the basis for carrying wood.
It does have this marvellous vehicle to show you. It's got the screen, you can see the screen folding down around the cruiser structure there. You have a propeller tank driving through the water. They're not easy things to drive, not easy things even to get into. Even for someone short, you find half the roof is rubbing on your head, which is very uncomfortable. We ran the risk of confusing it with an existing gentleman. They're powered by a 7-cylinder air-cooled premium engine. And typically American engines in the back, gearboxes in the front. So the drive shaft actually runs back of the tank all the way through the front to the front. You then need to be aware of that during the tunnel, because except and has a 2-man tackle. That particular one is an M4A1, which has the cast turret. That has a 9-cylinder air-cooled Continental engine at the back, which drives it at a fair rate of knots, but quite a din, as you can hear. They're interesting because they build such huge numbers of them that even though they were up against tigers and tiger twos, they could hold their own by quantity alone. That makes
doors, it's easy to overlook, but really, all of those countries, it's all about the gun they're carrying, and that is also all about the developing the starting shadow, move on to the armour piece, the big stabilised rounds, and that means that not only are they firing with like so much modern technology that gets new upgrades on it, this one didn't get the digitalisation done to it, so it's still the old kind of analog format inside there. They didn't like the idea of having too wide a tank sometimes on mountain roads. And the other thing about this vehicle, you can see the driver's got his head out the hatch down the front. He's got a very sensitive steering system. And I think I've mentioned before that sometimes private drivers for our kind of one tank here, when you learn how to drive on this one, got very similar as to going for a horizontal position. A rammer pushes the round forward, and then you're ready to fire. Now, advantages and disadvantages, you can see one of the advantages, you've got rid of the high GT, so you can make the tank slower. If you're a lower profile, harder to see. Disadvantages to that M103, so this car definitely was his tank. Whopping great American 120mm gun on it, and you can just see the size of that, the casting there, of that turret and that hull. And another thing to remember is, as we've got our French guests here today from the Suburban Museum at on the Loire Valley, from the Crusoe, is stopped with a number of at the moment by a team of guys that have come over from Austria. They are people that work at the Austrian Military Museum that's in the middle of Vienna. Fantastic collection of vehicles they've got, and a lot of the guys there have served them, and it's been fairly recently, so they've been helping us and a light can be shone from above the turret to the mirror, bounces back inside, and a measuring device can actually work out if that long barrel has got any food or bed. And the whole issue there is, with that extra long gun firing, even though it's got insulation, you can see the kind of cover on the barrel, even then, if it's firing on the day, the whole will slow down the one side of the barrel, if that causes the barrel of that will kind of have a really difference from one end to the other, and you're going to miss your target. Great sort of system that's mounted up in the skin of the vehicle, the aluminum against the skin there, and underneath the armour patch, definitely power. For armour piercing, stabilised rounds, for
both Sherman and Panther fire. Also entered the area as well to offer support. The vehicles are lacking in ammunition and the crews are very inexperienced and nervous. The Panther commanders cautions them that the enemy tanks are about and that they should proceed carefully.